seatbelt, so I automatically pressed it.
I'm Russ Sutton, as you know. I'm here at Cutter's Cigar Emporium tonight. We got a special night tonight. We got live music. But what really makes tonight special is we have John Carney here with me, my friend, from Flor, Dominicana, from Miami. John came in. We're doing an LFD event. We got some great, fantastic smokes here. And so we want to just chat with you a little about LFD and about Cutters, who we are, and kind of introduce the brand. Beth has brought us a couple of old fashions. You up to an old fashioned?
You only had to ask once, and you didn't even need to ask. So
you know, we brought alcohol in here about a little over a year ago, and we felt like, you know, there's nothing we can do to the cigar, John. But what we can do is we can enhance that experience of the cigar in our lounge with our music and just great cocktails that the girls make for us. So I'm going to get you one of my old fashions.
Perfect.
And then we're going to light up a couple cigars. Excellent. Just chit-chat about these cigars, and I want to hear about Lito, how he's doing.
I'm actually getting pretty excited for this old-fashioned here. Oh, excellent.
So we make the very best old-fashioned in town. I sent my wife all the way to South Beach for a week.
My neck of the woods.
It took her a week to learn how to make these. So
hey, cheers.
And if Lito could see a copy of this, Lito, I'm sorry you're not here, but listen, we are going to have fun with you or without you, and we will sell a product, but I want to see you, Lito, down here next year.
Well, I'll tell you, Lito, when we get him up here, you're going to have some foam cups, and you're going to have some Zacapa rum and some orange wedges, because that's how he drinks it.
That's not a problem. That's a little thing. We can handle that. So let's light up these cigars. I want to talk about, hey, listen, I got the LFD Chapter 1.
So the cigar you're smoking, I'm going to light up something a little bit smaller, because I actually have like 3 cigars going right now. But Chapter 1's a really fun cigar. Lito's son, Tony Gomez, started making cigars probably about 5-6 years ago now. When I got in this role as Vice President of Sales, Tony started working in the Dominican Republic and moved down there full time. And this was actually his first blend that he ever made. And it's kind of funny because it's a 5.5-year-old cigar brand now, essentially. With the Chapter 1. And in college, he was an English major. So he has he started with a book-themed cigar branding, essentially. So we have Chapter 1, we have Capítulo 2, which translates to Chapter 2 in Spanish. But Chapter 1 was something really special because that was his first blend. So that's a really unique cigar. And you mentioned something like pairing liquors and things. I can pair anything with cigars. During the day, I drink coffee because I have to work. When I pair cigars with drinks, I try to have contrasting flavors for me. So like when I have coffee, coincidentally, coffee does have an acidic nature to it. And that contrasts well with cigars. I think old fashions, particularly, I think it's funny you did it. It's not just for the sake of this conversation here, but I find a old fashioned has that similar kind of acidity. Obviously, it's not coffee, but it's a liquor drink that has, you know, contrasting flavors with what I'm smoking. I tend to find cigars tend to be earthy. Even when we describe something as sweetness, with like what you're smoking now, with a nice Maduro wrapper on it, the same thing I'm about to light up here is the El Jaco with a Maduro wrapper. This was a cigar we started making in 1996, and still today is one of our top sellers. It's a small little smoke. But this has a sweet wrapper, but the sweetness of this is not the same kind of sweetness that I describe it like a drink. So now, it's fun to contrast that.
When you pair a cigar with alcohol, do you want the cigar to be more potent or more powerful than the cigar? Or what does that mean when you say pair?
So I look at pairings as there's either comparisons or contrasts in flavors, and people may differ from one way or the other. When I look for a pairing, I look for something that contrasts. I don't want a beverage that's going to, you know, blend with the cigar. I want something that when I take a puff of the cigar,
do you want the alcohol to overpower a little bit?
I want them both to overpower each other. When I take a puff of the cigar, I want the cigar to stand out. When I take a drink of the drink, I want the drink to stand out. So I want it to kind of be smooth, and I want to
complement each other.
Well, yeah, a complementary side of it. But the way I look at complementing is the contrast of it. I want something that's going to stand out away from it. Personally, I don't do a lot of beer with cigars, but a lot of people
I
do.
understand a guy wants to drink a Bud Light and pair it
No.
with a nice cigar. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
To me, but-
I'm a huge wine drinker personally, and I think wine and cigars aren't necessarily always the best. Sweeter wines are good with cigars, because I want the contrasting side, and that's just my own personal preference. But I want the cigar to stand out on its own. I want the drink to stand on its own, and I think with an old fashioned, you take a sip of that, and then you have a drink, then you have a puff of the cigar. You know you're smoking a cigar. The flavor's standing out on your palate. And the same thing when you take a drink of the old fashioned or whatever beverage you choose. That's why, like, for me, coffee. Which, by the way, you guys have great coffee. I had 2 of them earlier. I'm going to be up all night because of it. But like for me, when I take a sip of coffee, when I take a puff of a cigar, they work together, but they're 2 independently separate things. So it's really unique. And I said, when you mentioned old fashions, we were going to have the bartender put us together old fashioned. One, I was really excited because I hadn't had one yet, and I'm a huge old fashioned fan. And in our company too, we're very fond of old fashions. And I think it's something that goes really well with cigars.
So I'm looking at this cigar right here, the Salomon, and I have smoked the Salomon, and man, I dig it. But they're kind of rare. I mean, it's not like I got 20 boxes in stock. So if you could put the camera on these cigars, this is pretty cool. So tell me about that blend, and then
this cigar here is based off of our Salomon that we've made since 2009. It's a limited edition product. We made it 3 times since 2009, and it was our highest rated blend until 2016 with our Andalusian Bull. This was a really special blend. The Salomon's a really unique shape because it's real thick at the end and it gets thinner as you go through, so the flavor profile really matures as you go through the cigar. And the combustion rate's different from each portion of the cigar, which really changes the flavor profile as you go through it. Now this one here was a special project that we came out with about 3 years ago now, and it's become one of the more rare cigars in the marketplace. This one here, the reason it's called the Unico is for a number of reasons. Every single box of 10 has 10 uniquely different designs in it. Not one box will be the same. And there's several hundred different designs that are used here, and it's all done by hand.
These folks they're down in Dominican, right? They're rolling?
Yep, we're in Santiago in the Dominican.
And they have this artistic side of it that creates this, or is Lido behind it?
Lido is behind the initial concept behind this.
Yes.
He's very skilled at blending and rolling. He can roll, but he doesn't do the rolling every single day. He doesn't do all these projects every single day. So there's some really artistic people down in the cigar business in the Dominican Republic. And cigars are truly an art, and this is a true focus of it. And this brand here really puts that on display. But you said they. It's not they, it's one. There's one person that makes this. And that's what makes it super rare. On a normal size Vitola, like a Toro size, a pairing of 2 would make anywhere between 300 to 450 cigars a day. And that's just a normal Vitola without any special designs on it. The amount of cigars this gentleman makes is very, very low. So the nature of this product that makes it even more rare than just the concept line is that there's literally one person making it. And being a small manufacturer based on quality rather than quantity, this becomes more rare by the day. So it was really fun to kind of have some of these tonight.
It is.
This is actually the first event I've been at in about 3 months that's actually physically had these, and it's been fun.
You sold one of my customers today a full box.
Yeah.
Brian Callen, one of our good friends and customers. And he says, I'm not even going to smoke them. I'm going to take them home and just save them and put them in a frame and mount it on the wall.
It's unique. It's because a lot of times we get asked, like, when you have these, it's obviously a higher end cigar, and it says, how do you smoke these? What do you smoke these for? I say smoke them one special occasion or 2. Cigars are made to be smoked. And you joked around with Brian, which is funny. Is Brian coincidentally used to be my twin until I grew my hair out.
Yeah.
He and I looked a lot alike. So you may see Brian around the country because he travels around and think he's me. But he picked up a box. And you had mentioned to him, he's like, hey, you're like, just take a picture of these cigars, Brian. And he goes, I'll smoke them for you, and I'll give you a frame and frame it for you. But they are beautiful, they're a piece of art. And when I smoke, most of the cigars I smoke, I take a picture of before I smoke it. Obviously, I do a lot on social media. But this cigar here is a piece of art, and it's something that deserves to be fully enjoyed in a smoking experience. And at the same time, hopefully commemorated by taking a picture. But the moment you're in is what it's about. And this setup here is beautiful. You got a couple diamond ring ones.
My favorite cigar in the Flor Dominicana line is that Lennox. It's for me, it's kind of a strong. It's not a punch in the mouth cigar, but if I'm in the evening and I'm going to have me a nice Scotch or bourbon, I won't smoke this in the morning with my cup of coffee. It's a pretty stout cigar, but I love that smoke.
So Lennox is unique, and especially since you're smoking the Chapter 1, this was also one of Tony's blends. So what's fun with having two different palates blending cigars is everyone's palate's different. So you have Lito's palate, and then you have Tony's palate, and they're both making different flavor profiles. So it's been really fun to see Tony's growth with his cigars and the success with the cigars that he's come out with, and it's also been really fun at the same time to have Lito doing it at the same time. And I think they push each other too. I don't say it's necessarily competitive, but it is. Tony comes up with something unique, and then Lito comes up with something, and it's kind of like a one-upsmanship, I think, on a father and son. But they also push each other. It's fun to watch them work together and come out with these types of blends. So,
well, I tell you what, I have taken a very personal interest in, and I'll just say that a love for the Gomez family. Because when we opened up 6 years ago, nobody knew me. I would go down there and say, hey, I'm going to open a store, and they'd say, yeah, but nobody knew me. But Lito Gomez, I visited with him, and I sat down with him one day and just told him my story and who I was and what I wanted to do. And finally, I just told him, I said, Lito, nobody's going to represent LFD in Atlanta, Georgia as good as me. And there was a long pause. We drank 2 or 3 cups of espresso, smoked some cigars, and had a really good time together. And he says, I like you, and I want Cutters to represent my brand. So here we are. We've been on a 6-year journey with Flor Dominicana. So I hope that we have served you guys well.
The time of you opening actually coincides with when I got into this position as Vice President of Sales too. I've been in this role for slightly over 5 years, and I remember when you all first opened up, and one of the first stops that I made was to the Atlanta market. Coincidentally, this is not an advertisement for Delta, but I fly Delta, so I fly through Atlanta all the time. So this was one of the spots that I didn't have a salesperson, and I remember sitting down meeting you all, and we've definitely had a really fun voyage for the last 5.5 years. It's been really special to watch you grow while we're growing at the same time, and it's definitely been unique. And I remember the story at the time you were telling me with the experience you have with Lito and the family. So it's been fun to grow with you, grow as you've expanded here.
At the end of the day, it's about the relationship. It's, the relationships that I have been able to cultivate with the manufacturers, and the relationships that we have just we built our business here at Cutters about that relationship, and it's kind of what sets us apart from the other cigar stores in Atlanta, is that we really are very relational. My staff understands that we're in the hospitality business. We're really not in the cigar business, if that makes sense. We're in the hospitality business, and we have embraced customers and grown this business one customer at a time. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do to these cigars. They come from DR. I can't add anything to it or take anything away from it, but what I can do is provide a great lounge and a great environment, and great staff, and great cocktails, and make sure that when you light this cigar up, that Cutters is committed to enhancing the cigar experience. And so I'm just tickled. You tell Lito when you see him that we miss him. I'm not expecting him here one of these days, but I promised him that we would represent you guys.
So Lito flies American Airlines, so he's not through Atlanta as much as I am. So like this for me was a good layover, which was great. By the way, the Atlanta airport, if you ever fly in Delta, this is not that far away. Just avoid rush hour. But I flew in just today, a real quick trip to come and spend some time with you all. We've been talking about this for a while, so this has been special to be up here. The hospitality has been fantastic. But this is not a far jump. Alpharetta's not far away, and there's a really unique. You got a really unique, special environment going on here. I mean, the music you can hear in the background's great. There's a really good energy around here, and it's a great place to sit and congregate and enjoy a cigar and drink. I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to finish this the entire time. I'm going to definitely need another one here before too long.
So listen, thanks for coming up. We're here tonight. It's Friday night at Cutter's. You know, you never know about Cutter's. We're always going to have something going on, so we always have something up our sleeve. Great smoke. So my desire is to make sure Atlanta has a place to get the best of the best of the best cigars in the country, and then we're committed to that. We're committed to the environment, committed to the relationships that we've built with all of these cigar families. And I wish one day, hopefully one day, we can get Lito Gomez in here, because I have loved this guy, and he is the funniest, most interesting. He is the most interesting man in the world, without question. But
I agree with you on that one. He makes my life interesting on a weekly basis.
I want to see the man behind the brand, but you know, we love these guys, and we are committed to making sure that all of our customers have a great stock of the Flor Dominicana. Flor Dominicana. Wait a minute, hang on a second.
What's in these things? Yeah, have another sip and we'll be all right.
The Flor Dominicana brand. So anyway, cheers.
Hey, cheers.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for the support. And honestly, this has been a special night. Really enjoyed it, and there's a lot more great things to come for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. Thank you.